Okay. I said, first of all, I salute all the students and their parents for having come to the institution and having taken the course that they have come for. They've just completed one part of the hurdles race. Modern world, provide all the students with hurdle races. And having completed the first leg of it, they are in the college where they are going to study technology so that it can be applied in their lives and to the world tomorrow. While looking around, the first question that we naturally ask is, what's going to be technology tomorrow? That's why I said I would rather tack on this subject, because it's a fast changing world, and technology today is not what has been technology yesterday, and technology tomorrow is going to be entirely different. See, when I was doing my MSc course at Palakkad Victoria College, I was a student of the applied physics course there, postgraduate. And the project that we were given was to build a practical model of what then was called a computing machine. It was 1961, and even the word computer was yet to come around. There was a room full of wired equipment, the so-called erstwhile valves instead of the transistors, the tetrodes, the diodes, the pentodes, and so on, and a lot of power equipment. And there were no output-input devices. There's only a punch tape. And then after 3 months of hard work, we completed the project and gave the talk, the computing machine as it was called, in order to add 2 and 2. And then went to the canteen, had a cup of coffee, and came back. And the machine was still to add 2 and 2. And as we waited for another 5 minutes, the machine came up with the punch information that it is 4. It was a great day in our lives, naturally. Great success it was. But today, the computer before you in your classes is something gigantic when compared to that small bit of computing machine. And 1981, the first computer that I had, PC, was a 40 MB, 4 MB machine with a 4 MB RAM and a 40 MB hard disk. And to save one typed page of manuscript, it took about 3 minutes. One could hear the hard disk driving, gar, long, far away from it. And the whole thing was so huge that it took a whole tabletop to occupy. This was the technology that we came from. And in my lifetime, I have seen technology changing all its values, modes, functions, and results. And tomorrow, much faster, this is all going to change. I would like to mention that you may please consider the present study as a portion where you are going to acclimatize yourself with the technology that exists today, so that you can adapt yourselves to the technology that comes in tomorrow. We definitely will have a lot of technology different from what we have. We'll have nanotechnology, we'll have artificial intelligence technology, we'll have a lot of hard material technology, space technology, and material technology besides. All these will be in turn reflected upon by the state of scientific advancements of those days. And these advancements are also unpredictable, but one predictable thing about them is this, that they are going to happen anyway. So be sure to get ready. And how do you get ready? You get ready by imbibing the values, the ideas, and the attitudes from your teachers. It's not exactly what he teaches that the teacher gives you. The teacher gives you an attitude, a mental setup, a like or dislike for a certain subject. If you don't like a certain subject, one of the most important reasons for that dislike will be the dislike the teacher has for that subject. If you look back, you can see, even in elementary schools, small children, secondary schools, if you don't like mathematics, the teacher who used to teach you mathematics probably didn't like it. So if you don't like a particular subject, it's probably the teacher who is responsible, and vice versa. The teacher is very fond of a subject, you will naturally get his love reflected for that subject and love the subject yourself. What does a teacher do to a student? It's a very important question. The first thing I want to talk about too is the role of the teacher. The teacher is a particular institution without which the world would have been a different place altogether today. What made the world a different place for us now from what it used to be in the dark ages is the institution that is called the teacher. Because the human child is born without any software already installed in it, unlike the babies of other living things. For example, you take a spiderling, the baby of a spider baby. What does a spider baby have as a difference from a human child? One can say the spider baby has 8 legs, a human child is only 2. Well, right. You can also say the spider baby is very small, the human child is rather big. Okay, that's again right. You can say the spider baby is very uncouth, not at all very good to see it, look at. And the human baby is very cute, absolutely likable and pleasurable. But the most important difference between a human child and a spider baby is this, that the spider baby, soon after it is hatched, starts building its own net without any assistance from anybody whatsoever. You don't take a spider baby and send it to a polytechnic to teach it how to build a net. The web is built by the spider baby from a software installed in it by birth. So is the case with the peacock that dances well, the cuckoo that sings well, and the sparrow that builds a very complicated net and hangs it upon the front of a coconut tree at a place where it is likely to be safe for about 6 months. It builds a 2 BHK, 3 BHK house on its own. You don't send it to an architectural college to learn anything about house building or networking. But the human child, which is supposed to be the best mold in the world born, doesn't have any software at birth. Then why is it called the best mold product? It is called the best mold product because it has immense hardware which can accommodate any software, any amount of software, any complicated software. One can teach a human baby anything, anywhere in the world. Maybe there will be differences between how that human baby, how fast the baby learns, or what the baby likes to learn better than any other things. There may be differentiations between his likes and dislikes and his capabilities, but a human baby can be taught to learn a thing, at least in its early stages, to a very large extent. But do whatever you may, you can't teach a spider baby to do anything other than build that small web which catches the prey for it, or that sparrow to make any other plan for any other structure, or that peacock to perform a little kuchipudi, or that cuckoo to sing a symphony from Beethoven. But the problem is with the human child, you must have a teacher to install the softwares. Guru or teacher is the person who installs the software that the child has to learn. And the teacher installs the software after discovering 2 things. One, of course, everybody doesn't like everything similar, equal. There are preferences, tastes, all differences are there. So the teacher finds out what baby likes to learn better and well. After having found out that, he gives importance to that particular software and puts up the background of general software information with it, so that the child is equipped to work in a certain field and live in the world naturally and well. And then the most important factor is the teacher, while installing the software, does not install the software that he has been taught by his students, by his teachers. What he has been taught by his teachers, he updates by his own experiences, investigations, evaluations, and all kinds of experiments. It is the updated file that the teacher installs in the new generation. That's why man changes fast by every generation, changing so fast that he has become in less than 400 years what he is today from what he was almost living in a state of cave life early before the days of the enlightenment period. So, but for the teacher, there wouldn't have been any civilization, and but for the teacher, there wouldn't have been any science technology, because unless there is someone to teach you what has been achieved so far, you will not be able to add anything to it. If someone asks me to reinvent the wheel, to reinvent the liver, to reinvent the solar system, to reinvent astronomy in whole one life, it's not possible at all, and nobody does it. So the structure is important, and who maintains that structure? The structure is maintained by the teacher. And what the teacher gives is not only information and the software, but a basic platform on which the software is uploaded. What is a basic platform? Is it an Apple? Is it another kind of platform? Now, this platform is the perspective on life the child has, the student has. You must have a certain vision in life so that what you have learned from the teacher is put used to in that particular frame and in that particular world. Where you go is decided by what you know about the world and what you want to do. Now, if you know about the world and know what to do, then the teacher can help you find out which direction you have to go. It's orientation that's the most important problem. And technology, whatever it is tomorrow, is going to be a very demanding process. For instance, a lot of work will be hereafter entrusted to humanoid robots. It's already coming. I saw a certain humanoid robot walking around in international airport in Delhi. It almost looked like a man, a lady for that matter. But the lady could answer you in any language you addressed her and give you on the spot information about the status of any flight anywhere in the world, in any airport. And then if you request that lady to show you the gate in which you have to go and board, she takes you by the hand and leads you to the exact gate and address you to the particular staff there, saying that please take care of this person. I saw a mother giving a baby to that particular humanoid robot, asking her to keep that baby till she went to the comfort room. And that robot held that baby without any problem for the baby and for the others there around, with the baby crying and all. They know. The mother came out, got the baby back, said thank you, and the humanoid robot said welcome. Now this humanoid robot can work for 24 hours, doesn't have any leave, it doesn't need any medical help, it doesn't need any sleep, any food. It only needs a little power and probably a maintenance attention. Now this can be the routine around a lot of jobs in the world. For instance, the policeman, the driver, the worker who is a routine job doer in a factory, or even a nurse or a doctor. Surgery is being done by remote control and by robotics. Very important hospitals all over the world. In Amrita Hospital in Ernakulam, a very complicated heart surgery is performed by a computer as instructed by a cardiologist who is sitting in Bay, New York. So this is all possible in technology these days, and it's no joke at all. It's the result of a long drawn-out project where thousands and thousands of engineers who were never known to anybody in the world work day and night to produce these results. And these results are going to produce some more results which may tell upon the structure of society tomorrow, the attitude you have towards a society, how you live in that society and cooperate with the system ruling that society. Are you going to cope up with that? If you want to cope up with that, you must have an open mind. And how do you have an open mind? You have an open mind by making it a fresh mind. How do you keep your mind fresh? You keep your mind fresh by reading or doing or listening to what you love to do. Say, singing a song, writing a story, reading a story, watching a film, whatever. That's what refreshes you and keeps you clean, fresh, and always productive. So you need a lot of arts there. You need a lot of social contacts there. And you need a lot of orientation and a lot of basic understanding of the structure of the universe and you yourself. In India, we call the knowledge about oneself Adhyalma Vidya. Who you are, what you really want in life, how do you want to do it, where should you go and do it, what opportunities have you got, what duties you have. These are very important things, and this all-out culture of a system is the most important faculty that creates a scientist or a technologist. It is a system that makes the particular individual. Now, this system is a very complicated affair. How do you respond to the system? You are at the same time working in the system for the system and also contributing how to change the system. Functionally, you seem to be enjoying participation in it. At the same time, inter alia, you are suggesting ways to improve the system. That's a very important function of the technologist. And mind you, physical sciences are taking over the entire world of science. Stephen Hawking said, you can translate all laws of biology into laws of physics by the in-between intermediary of chemistry. That is, first you convert the biological knowledge into physical knowledge, chemical knowledge, and then you translate that chemical knowledge into physical knowledge. The same way about other branches of science. So in the physical world, what matters is engineering and not theory. Of course, theory has to take engineering ahead. Unless it walks ahead, you wouldn't be able to follow what is happening. But most important factor is how you take the system as a method of civilized feeling or a cultural experience. Do you have technology in you as a cultural experience? Unfortunately, in most part of our technologies, this doesn't happen. Technology or science or whatever you have learned in the universities or colleges is one thing, and how you are and what you feel and how you look at the world is a totally different thing. The spirit of science is to be cultivated not by knowing, but by identifying. You can always feel that a knowledge is yours, but unless you feel that knowledge is you yourself, the knowledge is absolutely no use for your personality development or your cultural development or standing. Look at the electric post in the country, anywhere in India or practically anywhere in the developing world or undeveloped world, wherever current is. You won't find a single electric post standing exactly vertically up. It's either this way or that way, leaning or about to fall or crooked up or broken or whatever. But you won't find this kind of a thing anywhere in the advanced world, because there the person who is supposed to look after it or the person who is supposed to install it so very well aware of what it is supposed to be doing and how it should be, because it's part of his culture. But in India, we don't have that culture at all. I have seen with my own eyes ordinary workers in the fuel refabrication plant in the atomic energy establishment in Bombay handling radiating material with their own bare hands. Highly radioactive material. See, it's fuel that is being processed. Fuel, burned fuel, is a very radiating material. And there are stipulations, rules, regulations, and there are all kinds of precautions to be taken before a man goes anywhere near that. But these illiterate workers were taking up whatever possible in the bowls of their hands and carrying it out. I asked the person who was managing that, what's happening? This is now detrimental to their health. Won't they get cancer? Isn't this carcinogenic? He said, yes, of course it is. We have told them several times not to do it. They've been given gloves, badges, shields, and everything, but they won't use it. They say, we don't feel anything when we take it in our hands. It doesn't burn, it doesn't hurt you. So why bother? That's how science has gone to us, only that far and not farther. This same thing about any other branch of science or technology. And there is another problem with the technology field in the country. That's a problem of interchange. If you are an engineer in India in a certain field, say electrical engineer, he is an electrical engineer for life. If you are a mechanical engineer, you are a mechanical engineer for life. Or if you are a chemical engineer, you are a chemical engineer for life. If I have done MSc physics, I am a physicist all my life. If I have done mathematics, I am a mathematician. We don't allow interdisciplinary movement. I'm not supposed to go and do some job in a company which does anything about chemistry, biology, or anything else, because I am a physicist. But you will see in developed countries, one can easily change the field of one's knowledge and functioning. Free movement is possible. There are no hard lines drawn. I don't know whether you heard of Dr. Jacob Bronowski, whom I had the good fortune to interview in Bombay for a magazine called Science Today that was being produced by the Times of India. He was a wrangler in mathematics from Cambridge University in Britain. Wrangler means the first rank holder there. And he was responsible for planning the trajectories for most of the bombings during the Second World War. After the World War, he got fed up. And meanwhile, a lot of discoveries were being made in biology. So what he did was, he went to a college, a fresher, picked up biology, studied it up to the level of doctorate, went and joined the Salk Institute of Biology in America, which is now #1 in the field. And he later became the director of that institute. And he was telling me, but for that change, I would have got rotten. Now, this kind of a thing is unimaginable in India. But I think tomorrow, by the time you get your degree, as fast as that, all this may change. If you want to change your particular field of activity, you can change over, making the already known chapters of your past come to use in that new field for you. So tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if I live that long to find a mechanical engineering doing some agricultural changes in a field, or an electrical engineering doing some biological experiments in a biological laboratory. All this is possible so that one can always use up all kinds of potentialities in oneself, for the country, for oneself, and for the rest of the world. So there are two slogans in the field of technical education. One is that You have to make use of your teacher as best as he or she can give you. There's nobody that can replace a teacher. Mind you, you all know that by the time, I suppose. Nobody has to tell you about it. And there is no one who can enlighten you regarding the way you should live. Probably your engineering professor does not tell you explicitly how you should face the world, but you will pick up that information from how that particular person faces the world, including you. So he is a role model. Make use of teacher is a subject provider, is a role model, is an extra parent, and a person who guides you to a better life all the way. Second, be ready for changes. Don't be surprised if the field that you have been working becomes totally unwanted, totally unengaging, uninteresting, and you have to change. Change. Change is the most important faculty of the entire universe. And the more you learn how to change yourself, attitudes, work, and all, the better you fit. The moment you quarrel with change, you become an outdated chap, man or woman, no matter. And I'm very happy that in most of the technical institutions in this country, particularly Kerala, the state of Kerala, there are a lot of women students in higher colleges of reading. In my age, when I was a student, there hardly anyone going for engineering if one is a girl. That was not supposed to be the field for a woman. Education itself was not supposed to be a field for a woman. Particularly, engineering and technology was not. So that you could never find a person in any office of an engineering institute or government belonging to the female sex. They will not be there. But today, the thing is changing. It's changing for the better because a woman has a better perseverance, patience, perception, and intelligence in the right values than a man compared. A man may lose his temper much faster than a woman can. As a general rule, of course, there may be exceptions, but generally, that is the practice. And try to, when you complete your education, wherever you live, try to tell others what you are doing, how it is changing the world, so that you know yourself that you are doing good for the entire society. Often it's a problem because the man who wonders what you are doing in the office doesn't know anything about the modern world. You see, I was a student of applied physics, but I went to the astrophysical observatory for my first job. I had to attend to the 18-inch telescope, the Bhuvanagar telescope, the largest telescope in Southeast Asia, and pick up astronomy overnight. I didn't know how I could do it, but I managed somehow to do it. But then the surprising thing was, after about 6 months of working there, when I came back home, my grandmother asked me, "Look, my son, what are you doing there? Because your father said that the place is very cold, difficult to live, and very unfriendly for all of us anywhere. So what is a special thing that you are doing there that you can't do anything anywhere else?" I told her, I didn't know how to tell her. I told her, "Look, grandma, I am trying to attend to the stars to complete what is known as a world star atlas, or a map of the sky, where you have the stars marked one by one, naming them, classifying them, studying them." She just sat down, almost wonderstruck, looking at me blank. I said, "Why, grandma?" She said, "After studying all these years, You have gone that far into a cold place and you are just looking at the stars. Why couldn't you do it just in our courtyard? Just turn, look up into the sky, and you could have noted the stars, counted them, mapped them, whatever you wanted to do. So if you care enough for us, don't go. Be here with us. You can do all the star watching from this yard, backyard. But then I spent a couple of hours on different days with her. Even she could be made to understand what is the importance of astronomy, how it is done, how far one can understand it without understanding it academically, and appreciate what the work that is being done there. So if you want to communicate, that's what I am coming to. Communication is a very important factor. Any engineer, anywhere, at any stage, has a duty to communicate and tell the person who doesn't know what he or she is doing, so that he may be able to understand how this particular man is trying to help him and change the world for everybody else too. For 3-4 things that you count if you can. You can count. 1, depend on the teacher, make use of him. 2, be ready for the change. 3, assimilate the culture of technology and science. 4, communicate well with the rest of the world and be happy about what you are doing. It's very important information that I have gathered through my life and experience. I'm happy to pass it on to you. It may serve you better, I suppose. And in all your life, I wish you all the best that you can probably achieve. Grow up to the sky. Always have a dream. As our ex-president of India told us, the man who was a rocketeer by profession, the man who had a Nike Apache rocket. You know what a Nike Apache rocket is? It's a 4-foot rocket in one stage. He was carrying that rocket on the carrier of a bicycle, pedaling all the way to Tumba lodging station, where there was just one pole of a rig, and he was firing that rocket. Nobody thought that he would one day fire a rocket from a rocket station that will go into orbit and beyond. Even himself, he said he didn't know, but he was ready. So the last point I would like to make in this particular conversation with you is this: be ready for the unanticipated, unimaginable achievement, because that achievement is there within you. Doesn't matter how much mark you get in a certain exam. Doesn't matter what is the rank you get in a certain exam. Doesn't matter how much salary you get. Doesn't matter where you are, how you are. But you must be aware that the miracle is there in you to happen. And I pray God that let the miracle happen with you, with your very beloved learned teachers in the institution, and your attitude towards them, and the attitude of your parents for cooperating with the institution, and also helping all the people joining you after you have joined the college, taking them along as your own smaller, younger brothers, and treating them well as you can. Again, I wish you all the best, and I wish the institution all the best, because this is an institution like anywhere else in the world that helps people to know what they can do. And that's very important. Any human child is a potential doer, achiever. The problem with our country or nation, the world itself, is most of the capabilities, talents born are not used at all. Because most people don't do what they want to do, can't do what they want to do, and don't even know what they can do. So if you have 100 people in the world, 95 people go without knowing what they are capable of passing on to the world, doing and creating and achieving. Only the 5% has to work as a diesel engine that pulls the train, 100 bogie train, all the way from here to eternity. Now imagine a situation where all the 100 people find out what they can do and are taught how they can do it and are provided with occasions to do that and keep living. Well, that is a heaven that we have on earth. So we must work towards that goal so that everybody contributes whatever he or she can and gets the chance to do it. And the society is ready to accept all that they can and use it for the progress of the entire system. So that's all. Keep going. Let even the sky be not the limit for you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.